From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Thursday, January 9th. We are waking up in the single-digit temperatures this morning. It is extremely cold outside, and it's a Storm Track 8 weather alert day, not because of these cold temperatures today. We're going to have plenty of sunshine. It's not going to be that bad, but because we have more snow returning on Friday. It's really going to be about timing with the snow. It could be during that evening commute, so stay with us. We'll have more tomorrow on that weather. Funeral services are today for former President Jimmy Carter. President Biden has declared this a national day of mourning. Carter was a peanut farmer and governor of Georgia before becoming the 39th president, serving from 1977 to 1981. His legacy after office was one of service to others as an international human rights advocate and a leading force in Habitat for Humanity. Because of today's services, mail delivery is halted. Many government agencies are also closed today, and Wall Street will pause trading for the day. The national funeral started at 10 this morning at the Washington National Cathedral. Carter's casket then heads to Georgia for private services and burial this afternoon. This morning, the longtime leader in the Indiana Democratic Party, State Representative Ed Delaney, joined Daybreak to discuss his memories of Jimmy Carter.
He was true to his faith. He was a man of peace. People forget. He went to Camp David and spent days with Anwar Sadat from Egypt and Menachem Begin from Israel and made peace. No president had done that since, I think, Teddy Roosevelt had done something with the Japanese and the Russians 100 years earlier. It was remarkable. So he was a man of peace. He was a simple man, and he acted on what he believed. I think his biggest problem, because he's never been evaluated very highly, was he expected too much of himself and he expected too much of us. And so when things fell short, it was hard for him. It was hard for us.
Set the bar too high, and
high.
Falling short of it is more devastating.
Yeah, and when the Iranian hostage thing occurred, he bravely sent our forces in to try to have a rescue, and 2 helicopters got too close to each other, and there she wrote. And that was the end of the rescue mission, and night after night we watched Ted Koppel on ABC News tell us how many days we'd been held hostage. I could feel the water dripping on the ballots that were designed to be voted for Jimmy Carter. It was just terrible.
You used the phrase, was it retail politics?
Yeah.
Explain that and why he was good at it.
He was good at getting in a small room with a small number of people and relating to them and speaking in terms that they understood. And that was the whole Iowa trick, where you'd go to somebody's living room, there'd be 10 people, and there's a guy next to you who's running for president of the United States. He's trying to tell 10 people to come to a caucus on a wintry night and vote for him. He could do that. And I met him one time, and that was much year later in the Carter Center. And I think it was in connection with monitoring elections. I did some of that, and that was one of the many things he did. He went around the world making sure that elections were conducted fairly. A very interesting mission. And he could just relate. He was simple. Isn't that terrible?
To be simple?
You know what I mean. I'm being sarcastic, but that's a good thing. And that's why he's a guy who picked up a hammer and figured out that he was building many houses by picking up his hammer. And wonderful. Yeah, in fact, he got me to pick up my hammer, which is something I would never have done.
You went out on a Habitat build?
I did, yeah. So I like the guy.
This morning, local Habitat for Humanity members joined Daybreak to discuss Carter's impact.
Yeah, 2018, they did the Jimmy Carter work project in South Bend. And so we had an opportunity to take a team up to South Bend. We had raised $70,000 and were able to help invest in that project and got to work alongside him. And the key there is work. So he was graceful always and would attend to the media as naturally as you would think, but he would say, it's time to get to work.
It's true, yeah. So one of the fun things about this Carter Work project is that you get to take a picture with Rosalind and Jimmy. And so they would come around to each house and, we take this picture, and then he turns around to the group of us after greeting the homeowner and says, now get back to work. So really his work ethic was inspiring, not even through Habitat for Humanity, but through all of the projects he was involved in.
News 8 will have extensive coverage of Jimmy Carter's funeral throughout the day on Wish TV. In California, officials say at least 5 people are dead and around 130,000 people have been forced from their homes as multiple wildfires engulf L.A. The fires have now spread to the Hollywood Hills and are described as creating apocalyptic scenes. A fire broke out last night about a mile from the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Crews say it has already damaged major landmarks and several production studios have halted work. Many actors are also impacted personally. The Associated Press reports that Mark Hamill and James Woods had to evacuate their homes. And Mandy Moore, Billy Crystal, and Paris Hilton are among those who have lost their homes. President Joe Biden has approved a federal emergency declaration for the area and canceled his final trip overseas to respond to the wildfires. With these frigid temperatures here in Indiana, firefighters are warning you about the safety of alternative heaters. Firefighters say an oil heater sparked a fire that tore through a warehouse and apartment in Indianapolis this week when someone accidentally put oil in with gasoline into that heater. The National Fire Protection Association reports 88% of heating fire deaths are caused by space heaters. The Indianapolis Fire Department says to check cords and make sure they're not frayed to avoid a fire.
Make sure you follow the manufacturer's instructions. Make sure you plug the space heater directly into the wall. Keep a 3-foot perimeter of cleared space around the space heater, which means don't put any kind of bedding, furniture, curtains, anything that could catch fire.
Experts also recommend having a working smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detector in your home. Wish TV is your education station. A new bill in the new State House session seeks to dissolve the Indianapolis public school system and several others. News 8's Garrett Berquist is digging into the new legislation and political fight already heating up.
Battle lines already are forming over the bill. Democrats and traditional public school supporters say they will fight it. The bill would dissolve any public school corporation in which more than half of the students who live within its borders are enrolled in a school that is not operated by that school corporation. Examples include charter schools and private schools. State analysts say right now, 5 school corporations in Indiana fit that description, including Indianapolis Public Schools.
We are galvanized as we've ever been galvanized before in regards to 1136. Not only us as House Democrats, but the community of Indianapolis and Gary.
If the bill passes as is, all of IPS's schools would be converted to charter schools. That's 50 schools serving 22,000 students.
It's not fair to these kids. It's not fair to the families. It's not fair to the communities. We need transparency. We need to make sure that we are holding charters just as accountable and responsible as our traditional schools.
State Representative Jake Teschka wrote the bill. He says Indiana's most troubled districts need innovative solutions.
What do we do about districts where 50% or more of the families that legally reside in those districts are choosing another option? And those are districts that we would say clearly, the governance structure is failing those students.
In a statement released early Tuesday night, IPS officials said Teschka's bill would cause massive disruption. Teschka says he's open to changing his bill depending on how the conversation goes. But he says something clearly needs to change to turn districts like IPS around.
The end goal is to make sure that each and every Hoosier kid has a great education. And so on the back of the letter that recently came out from current and former elected officials here in Indianapolis, urging the school district to really look at structural change. If something like that were to happen and happen quickly, of course we would love to see that happen, right? And to not need a piece of legislation like this.
Now, we're still very early in the legislative process. Teschka's bill hasn't even received a committee hearing yet. The session itself runs until no later than April 29th. At the State House, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV. WishTV.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
It's a heavyweight fight with a trip to the national championship game on the line as Notre Dame faces Penn State in the Orange Bowl tonight. Kickoff is at 7:30. Wish TV is on the road with the Fighting Irish. Andrew Chernoff joins us from South Florida.
You cannot beat the fact that Notre Dame is in the Orange Bowl, just one win away from playing for a national championship. That game tonight, the Orange Bowl, kicks off, as you guys mentioned, 7:30 between Notre Dame and Penn State. Two historic programs, and you want to look at the all-time series between these two programs, it cannot get more even than it is. In their previous 19 meetings, they've split 9 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie. So tonight's result will break that official tie between the Nittany Lions and the Fighting Irish. Of course, the big thing that everyone's going to be focusing on tonight is the ground game for both teams. Both teams very efficient when they run the football, averaging over 200 rushing yards per game. And that is why head coach Marcus Freeman wants to establish the run early. And it's also why James Franklin understands you got to slow down this rushing attack from Notre Dame.
Every week you tailor what you're doing to address that. And so this was no different. We understand that they have a really good front. But they got, like I said, a really good secondary and some good linebackers. And so this is a tough defense that we're going to face offensively, but we'll have a plan, and then it's about adjustments. This game is about adjustments, and we got to be ready to make the adjustments necessary.
At the end of the day, our focus is still on trying to defend the run. Notre Dame does it in a little bit different way than what Boise State did last week. And this is going to be a 4-quarter football game. And we're going to have to be prepared to compete like that. So stopping the run is priority number 1.
And that's even harder because Marcus Freeman announced yesterday that the Notre Dame leading rusher, Jeremiah Love, is good to go for this game later tonight. So that's big news for the Irish. And you know that puts a lot of smiles on Notre Dame's fans' faces as they get ready for this game. And there's going to be a lot of green inside Hard Rock Stadium tonight. I actually caught up with a bunch of Notre Dame fans yesterday just outside the official fan team hotel, I guess you could say, for Notre Dame, including one fan who's a recent graduate of Notre Dame who's already seen the Irish play inside Hard Rock Stadium in the past.
It's awesome. I was actually here in 2013 for the national championship game, and I've been a fan all my life. I just graduated in 2024, so it's great to be here with my family back. Hopefully the result is better than last time, but I'm really looking forward to it.
It's awesome to be down here. The weather's great. We got good vibes coming into this week. It was a great game last week. I think we can get it done and get to the national championship, so super excited.
Just the run that the Irish are on. So good friends that have tickets, and we were at the IU game. Big win there. Missed the last one, but coming down for this. Weather's great. Good time to get out of Indy with all the snow there, so this is perfect.
Perfect indeed. They are getting ready for this game. And again, download the All Indiana Sports app for the latest news regarding this game between Notre Dame and Penn State. Should be a great game here in South Florida later tonight.
In college basketball, the IU men are on a 5-game winning streak after beating USC at home 82-69. USC jumped out to a 10-point lead early, but IU was able to tie it up by halftime, despite the team's leading scorer, Mackenzie Mbako, not getting a single point in the game. Instead, the team rallied behind senior Umar Ballo's 23 points.
Once we got going and met their physicality, then we got back into the game and started playing Indiana basketball, which was nice to see.
IU's next game is Saturday. Team travels to Iowa to face the Hawkeyes. IU says the women's basketball team got its 900th win in program history last night. The team beat Northwestern 68-64 with a late shot. Several other women's teams across the state were also in action last night. Butler and IU Indianapolis hit the court, scoring conference wins. Butler over Providence, while the Jaguars beat Oakland. Ball State's women's team also extended its winning streak to 5 games with a 101-69 win over Eastern Michigan. In Pacers Watch, Indiana is on a roll with 4 straight wins and a new addition who has a lot of local fans making a case for a regular spot in the rotation. Former IU standout Thomas Bryant started for the first time since the trade that brought him here and made the most of it with 22 on the night, 2 on transition dunk. Indiana went on to win 129-113, staying unbeaten in the new year. Pacers host the Warriors on Friday. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.